Welcome to Sumbits, where we decode the PowerSchool development experience. Sumbits is brought to you by MBA. Let's start the show.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sumbits. As you can see, a few of us are together. Somebody couldn't make it across the border. But anyway, coming from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach at the PSUG Southeast Conference, we got me, Sean Cobby, Eric Scheidel, our guest of the day, Mr. Nick Peronti, and on the other little monitor over there, we still got Ryan Cochran joining us from the good old White North. How we all doing today?
I do well, thank you.
Do well. So we're on the second day of the PSUG Southeast Conference, and we wanted to take advantage since we're together and do another Sumbits episode. So here we are. And of course, before we get started, we are doing a little cocktail drinking today. I think all three of us here are joining in on a new bourbon for the podcast, and we're drinking a little Peerless bourbon. Sorry for the glare from the sunny outside of South Carolina, but pretty delicious. We're rocking in at 54.05%.
Holy moly.
8.1 proof. So if things get weird, we'll know why.
And I, by the way, am chasing this with a Wicked Weed Brewing Watermelon Dragon Fruit Burst Session Sour.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. So
that's what she said.
I'm going to say the bourbon pack's a little more punch, though.
Nick's joining us with the whiskey as well.
Whiskey as well.
What are you drinking, Ryan?
Today I'm just, because I have obligations after, so I'm just going to keep it light with brewskis. I'm having a Dead Man Switch. It's a New England IPA by Lake of the Woods. I'm going to follow that up with Kilter, Always Sleepy. It's a collaborative coffee stout with freshly roasted, always sleepy Colombian decaf coffee from our friends at Tom Bargain.
Fancy.
It's good. I've had that one before. I've actually had.
Do you have any idea why there's a clothespin on your current beer?
Can you say that again? On this switch? Let's see if I can read it. Lake of the Woods usually have really good backstories to their beer. So the Thistles 1907 Stanley Cup win, the 1973 CIBC bank robbery, the momentous 2013 reopening of Lake of the Woods Brewing Company. All three landmark and strangely unrelated events that helped put our little town of Kenora on the map. Insert wink here. Dead Man's Switch, a hazy NEIPA hot bomb loaded with enough Citra and Amarillo to stuff a getaway car twice over. This brew immortalizes the surreal and film-esque Kenora Main Street bank robbery, the only such event in history that actually shut down the Trans-Canada Highway for a day. Best consumed while doing laundry. And then
it's the clothespin.
That is the penthouse form of beer X there.
I
would love to go through the whole catalog of Lake of the Woods beers if anyone could get to Canada one day.
I don't think it's allowed. So, topic today. It's kind of an impromptu thing, but one thing that we've noticed in all of our episodes and all of PowerSchool in general is and technology in general, is there's a ton of acronyms. So we're going to be probably a little brief. We'll see where some of these take us, but we're going to go through some acronyms of PowerSchool, figure out what they actually stand for, where they're used, and all that fun stuff. So I do have a cheat sheet, so if you see me looking off to the side, we're apparently a little prepared today. That's not going to work.
So how are we going to do this? Are we going to stump the chumps here? Are you going to quiz us, or are we just going to rattle through these bad boys and you're going to?
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, we could just pick on Ryan and since all three of us can see my screen.
Well, yeah, but I might not.
I can't read that far.
Oh, you can't read that far?
Might have made sense to send that list to me first.
No, I think we need a healthy competition here amongst the Peronti, the Scheidel, and the Cockrum is what we
Fair
need.
Enough. I'll turn this away.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I just sprung that on Peronti. I don't know if he's comfortable with it, but he's already in front of the camera.
He gets not classically trained.
He can't leave now. He's stuck. So some of these are PowerSchool specific. Some of them are just education in general. But let's start with a couple easy ones, huh?
Okay.
Yeah. What about DEM, fellas? What does DEM stand for?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wait,
Oh, we don't have buzzers.
Uh,
Yeah.
I thought it was
Peronti.
DEMM.
Data Export Manager.
I thought it was DEMM.
Data Export Manager is correct.
All right.
Where are you
Win.
guys at?
Right away.
I'll let you guys keep score. I
Sweet.
feel like this could be like a whose line is it anyway? Where like
Where
scores
the
don't
points
matter.
are made up and the points don't matter.
We could act them out too. Like, how would you act out DEM? You know what I mean?
I would love to see that.
Yeah, you go first in this game of charades.
How do you export data out of out of
DEM is used for, exporting data, I guess, just the way the name sounds.
Well, you can do that in
Yeah.
a lot of places, but what's different about DEM?
DEM is, the replacement for quick export. It's been around for a while, but it allows you to kind of build your export more UI-like rather than just typing in fields in the quick export.
Wait, you just threw another acronym at us. UI, what's that?
What is a UI?
Oh, that is a user interface.
I feel like this is just gonna
User
be nothing but
interface?
sarcasm.
Yeah.
In whose face?
Goose face.
In her face?
No, duck face. DEM's great.
You got to do piece first.
DEM's awesome because you can get to all the tables in PowerSchool. You can get to all of the views that PowerSchool has set up to make exporting out of a whole bunch of tables easier. You can get to all of your database extension fields, and you can build a template. You can save the template. You can schedule the template to export out to SFTP.
What is
Which-
FTP?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Secure File Transport Protocol. Yes.
Transport or
Transfer.
Whatever.
I think it was transfer, but I was actually not going to question it because
That
I
was
thought
like
it
the
might be wrong.
third bonus I was on. So
Oh, we're not done yet. Because what else can you use in DEM?
Power queries or
PQs.
PQs. Sorry, PQs. Yes.
Have we lost everybody yet? And we're just on the first one.
I know.
Great fun. What are PQs?
Power queries.
Yeah,
We
what
already
are
said that.
power queries?
Oh,
And how do you
power
mind your
queries.
P's and Q's?
I actually
I
have.
don't know how to do that.
So
don't think I ever
I actually have a question that I don't know. And in DEM, when you use a power query, you have to show all, right? And then you go down to which section to find all of your power queries because they all start with.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They
They don't. None of mine do. I named
you're
them
fancy.
proper.
So if you don't name them proper, they all start with
They all start with
NQ.
Or named query,
Yeah.
which is what power queries were going to be called before PowerSchool realized that's kind of a boring name. They will be power queries.
But they stuck with NQ for the.
Until marketing got a wind of it. And they're like, why doesn't it have power in there?
Which is not an acronym, but it also harkens back to database extensions.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Before they were database extensions, they were called schema extensions.
Which
And
is
then
accurate.
What's that?
Which is accurate.
Which is accurate. It's an extension of the schema. And then somebody realized that we can't let our developers name our products because they speak nerd speak. And we need to talk to the end user.
So that's where
It'll scare people away going, what the heck's a schema extension? I just want to extend my database.
Exactly.
Fair enough. All right, so quick transition into another easy one. DIM.
Oh, I have no idea. DIM?
DIM.
It's the opposite of light.
It's the opposite of export.
Direct internal.
Duh. Oh, now I just.
Eric says,
silly.
"Oh, we are talking about
No,
PowerSchool."
We're still on PowerSchool. Yeah.
Wait, Eric, were you
Hey.
serious then?
What'd you say, Ryan?
I don't know if you're serious.
Hey,
think
okay,
he
I'm
was.
I'm sorry, but we need to back up a second.
Oh.
I want to bring up about Data Export Manager. Nick, you mentioned that you can get at your database extensions as well, your schema extensions, which you can't do through DDE. It's funny because you described it as a replacement or an upgrade.
We're talking about DEM, not DDE.
Yeah, I'm talking about DEM right now.
Thank you.
You described it as a replacement for quick export. I've always viewed it as more of a replacement or an alternative, I've always viewed it as more of an alternative to DDE, though.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I'll go more with Nick.
What does DDE stand for?
Ooh, good one.
Direct database export. I'm 98% sure on that.
Right. Good.
Oh, yeah.
One for the title.
Anyway, one of the great things in Data Export Manager is seeing your database extensions, which you can't do in DDE. But also, I think it bears mentioning, if you didn't know this, please take note of this, PowerSchool administrators. You can modify DDA style your database extensions. Oh, DDA, Direct Database Access. Yes.
I don't know if that counts, but go on.
What do you mean you don't know if that counts?
I don't know. DD, DDA.
I think it counts.
All right, whatever.
All right.
He's grabbing that low-hanging fruit. He's got to get them points that don't matter.
So be aware that you can modify DDA style, those database extended tables, but mind you, only the database extensions can be modified via DEM, not the core tables. And you can even mass update them. For some reason, you can't delete through DEM, which kind of bothers me. But be aware of that. If you got folks, I think there are two roles. There's you can set.
There's two built-in roles, but you can actually add it to any role. Like there's two check boxes. That one is like using DEM, and then the other one is like being able to modify inside.
There's the export and export edit in terms of the roles. Yeah. So anyway, for the security-minded folk out there, be aware of that and set your roles up appropriately.
Yeah, don't let anybody modify through DEM. That's just bad all around.
Not best practices. Yeah. Fun stuff. I want to pick a good one next.
Are we going to do a hoedown at the end of this, by the way?
Probably. There's a good chance. We'll see how much of this bottle we get through.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be more appropriate to do the Irish drinking song?
Well, but we're the hoedown because we're doing the whose line is it anyways, right?
Oh, is that the one where they always go hi-dee-di-dee-di?
Oh, yes.
I did not follow you for a minute.
You guys are a piece of drinking whiskey and beer. You just did a talk about dim and damn, oh dear.
Well, that was a good start.
That's delightful. I don't think we'll be involved, but we'll let you hoe down at the end.
No, I'll do the last. I'll do like the anchor.
The Wayne Brady.
Ryan Stiles.
Ryan Stiles. Well, maybe he's a lot taller.
Well, now you guys don't have a Patreon. See, if you had a Patreon account, you could be like, this is our Patreon goal of like for hoedown. If like we reach this level of funding, we'll do hoedown. I'm just going to throw it out there. You know.
So for the next acronym, though, I'm going to ask our lovely guest here to put his hat on.
Let me put my SQL hat on.
Brian, can you see his hat?
Oh, okay. So So I'm going to answer structured query language.
Yeah. So is it
that counts?
It does count.
Say it again for the audience there, right?
Structured query language.
Beautiful.
Ooh, I got one for you. Along that same vein, DDL and DML.
I don't know.
So I was actually just teaching SQL earlier today, and when I teach, I talk about the fact that the acronym is for structured query language. So you would think that it's for querying databases, and that's true. But SQL can actually also be used to create tables, to insert records, to modify records, to delete records, and that's called DDL and DML, is what I was taught back when I was classically trained.
None the rest of us weren't, so we don't know what you speak.
Learn us. Eric.
DDL for data definition language, creating tables and columns, etc. And DML for data manipulation language. So I always tell folk when I'm teaching SQL at these conferences, when you're out there searching the webs and learning more about SQL than you learned with me, because I'm honestly relatively incoherent when I teach, and they're going to search for more resources, I tell them to ignore the DDL and DML portions of those resources.
I'm not sure you could have.
And to always connect to their database with the PS Navigator Oracle user.
What does PS stand for?
You should wear it.
I get the SQL crown. Thanks.
You should.
But what is, you said
Ryan,
PS. What does PS stand for?
PS. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
I thought of
Pseudo stars.
Isn't that like PowerSQL?
PowerSQL.
PowerSchool, I think.
chalk one
PowerSchool.
up for Cobby.
Yep.
For me, I win. Well, this should be fairly another easy one. I'll save the harder ones for later after we drink a little more bourbon. CPM, fellas. What does CPM stand for? I know. Buzzer.
What is
Custom
it?
Page management.
Yay!
Yay!
Yes, the custom page manager where you modify and add your custom pages to PowerSchool directly rather than through a plugin created when PowerSchool started to want to host everyone's stuff, so we couldn't have a custom web ribbon on the server, and it wouldn't work for everybody.
Can you review the CPM for us now?
Review it. I give it 3.5 stars
Out of 5 or 10?
out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now Ryan's gonna want to give a shout out to Blue Steel CPM.
No, I wasn't.
Why isn't Blue Steel called BS?
That's a good one. I'm going to tell Tejas you said that.
That's fine. He has to come find me first.
Oh, speaking of shout outs, as I mentioned, Ryan was going to give a shout out to Blue Steel. I got to say, he's a big fan for anybody who's a CPM user and is not aware of the existence of Blue Steel. Check it out on the PowerSource Exchange. It's awesome. And I also was instructed, and there will be repercussions if I don't follow through, that I need to give a shout out on this episode to all of our friends in Tennessee, all of our PS users in Tennessee. There's some of them here that were in my classes today, and they were very intimidating, and they told me I needed to give a shout out. So done. We can now proceed.
We can move on. I would like to give it so unfortunately, Ryan, you are not here, but I did mention to you earlier today that it's been really nice to meet some of the people that actually watch this. And apparently we have some good content because they seem to think they learned something. I'm not sure how true that is or if they're just, buttered my bread. But either way, it was nice to meet you. Hope to see you tonight. Anyway, moving on. All right, I think we're through the warm-up.
Okay,
Warm
good.
up. I'm gonna piss Eric off for a second. And what is when we're talking about DAT tags? What does DAT stand for?
What is a DAT tag?
That is a PowerSchool construct.
Right.
Dat tag is like saying ATM machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that tag. Well, yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
can just hang on to that T. Yeah.
So what's it stand for, Ryan?
Data access tag.
Data access tags.
Tag.
Where do we use DATs?
Everywhere.
All
Really?
the places.
Pretty much everywhere.
So
in Power.
I've got to poll everybody else here. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this debate that I have had with a certain somebody that we work with. As always, I don't like to name names, Carla Dance, but we've debated what a DAT is. And
Oh, see, that's funny. I was just going to say, go on. I was just thinking that. What's the definition of it?
well, yeah, I mean, what makes a DAT a DAT?
I was going to say anything that begins with a tilde is like a DAT. But
What about Eric?
I might be overstepping there. I don't know.
I would say that.
Well, so here's where
Like,
we
is an
came to
X
blows
code
one time.
DAT? I don't know.
I wouldn't call an X code a DAT, but
Well, no, because an X code is an X code.
oh,
Carla,
It begins with a tilde.
Tangent. does the X actually stand for anything in Xcode?
I can't imagine it. It may be executable because it's on the server side. I don't know.
I don't have the answer for that one. I was just curious.
Well, our debate was I claimed that a tilde with the square brackets and a table name followed by a field name is a data access tag. And she was like, no, that's not a data access tag. It's just a field reference tag. And I'm like, well, what's in that field? It's data. And we're accessing said data. So I don't know how you can.
But like, share my screen for a
when you
moment.
think an Xcode is a DAT tag.
I'm going to share my screen for a moment.
Honestly, I think it's in the eye of the beholder.
Ryan's sharing.
So if you go to the dev site, you have system tags, and then you have field DATs. And it's just these two little things, kind of contending to what Eric just said.
Oh, what does it say right after the word? I'm sorry. What does it say right after the word field?
DATs.
Oh, I'm going to get an angry phone call after this, and probably not including an apology. But anyway, Carla, if you're listening, I just want to say, booyah.
So since we're here, it actually says DATs are special tags designed to return a specific data element in current processing.
Oh.
A typical use is to return a column value from the table that the current page is processing, but there are other types of DATs also. Here are the formats for specific database field display DATs. I'm not sure that's useful.
Yeah, because it kind of leaves it open to like other things could be a DAT.
It could, yeah.
Huh.
There's a wonderful DAT reference plugin. Actually, you guys probably talked about it on your show already.
I don't know if
Maybe
we
you
have,
haven't.
but that's worth calling out.
If you want to go by that, then everything's a DAT because, boy, everything's in there.
And that would be, I think we have to give a shout out to, speaking of shout outs, another one. I believe it's Corey Hilliard with Meta.
Yeah. That's a really wonderful reference.
You know where folks can get their hands on that if they're interested? It's a
look on
plugin
my
you can
computer.
install right in PowerSchool for.
Yeah, you gotta look
reference.
for the Meta DAT reference. It's wonderful because it adds a little link under the help menu to this reference, and he's got everything under the sun in there, described and searchable. I use it all the time. I love it. Yeah.
I know contacts is there that you can use DATs with contacts, and there's a contact DAT builder that's pretty slick too.
That's pretty cool too.
So since it's fairly new, moving on, let's get a little more. We'll stay in the realm of PowerSchool. Go a little bit further, deeper in FRN. Yeah, Ryan, we're going deeper. FRN. What does it stand for?
Yeah, what does it stand
What
for?
is it? If you don't know what it stands for, we just talk about what.
I mean, I know what it
I
is.
mean, am I supposed to always answer, or is are we all answering? I don't know.
I mean,
Well, you can hit the button.
You gotta hit the
button. And okay.
Oh, okay. You're up.
File record number.
Record number. Oh.
I've always said file reference number.
Oh, debate.
I don't know that one or the other is accurate, but I think they both make sense.
Do you want me to arm wrestle in your stead, Brian? Like what?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hold on, let me wipe my nose. I got a bad cold.
I'm just
What's
looking
it
to see if I can find
Where's
it.
it at? I would venture that some people,
in
some of
further.
our listeners may have never even paid attention that FRN is anywhere.
I know
But
I've
it
heard
sure
called
plays an
multiple
important
things.
role.
Sure does.
I've heard
Where would
field.
we find an FRN, Ryan?
at the most prominently at the top of student pages, but also basically any page that's accessing a particular record in PowerSchool, whether it's a course or a section, teachers record, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So by the top of a student page, like where specifically?
At the end of the URL.
Oh, you see how he baited you into that?
I'm enjoying this way too much. What does URL stand for? What is a URL?
I'm not going to Google it. I'm just going to try to remember.
That is one of those taken for granted. Everybody knows what a URL is.
Universal Resource Locator.
I figured universal, but I did not have resource locator at all. That was never coming up.
And if I'm accessing that resource over the internet, how am I going to do that? Via
DNS?
HTTP.
I was just going to say, is it DNS?
Okay.
Well, what's DNS stand for?
Well, you're going to need the DNS first.
Well, you're going to need the DNS in your HTTP
well,
reference.
not necessarily. If you know the direct IP,
the dynamic naming system.
So now we have what?
Dynamic naming system.
Is that
domain name service?
Name service. There we go.
Your dynamic is
if you have the direct
DHCP.
IP, you don't have the DNS.
This is true, but if you were using a URL,
that's true.
Okay, wait.
We're really split here.
Wait, what is HTTP?
So FRN though.
Yeah, that's
right. We were talking about FRN. Now,
I want to be my FRN.
Now, if you go to a student, it's in a frame, so you're not going to see the URL. You're going to see the top level frame, which is home.html or whatever. So you can always right click on the right side and say open in a new tab. I'm just saying. And then you would see the actual URL with the FRN.
You can actually just middle click.
The FRN will still be there on the home, though.
Some of us don't have mice with a middle.
The FRN will still be there when you're on the home screen.
Not if you look at the URL.
Yep.
Sure.
On a student page. I'm saying specifically student pages.
Well, I'm going to go and find that out for you right now.
.html with the FRN, but there are certain circumstances.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying it will be.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right. You know
okay.
what?
All right.
Ryan, you want to?
That's fine. Just.
We need some proof here.
I'm getting it, and I have it.
Say, proof. Even though Carla isn't here to defend herself, I'm 0 for 1, and I'm about to be 0 for 2.
Where's my...
Oh no, that's wait, no, that's backwards. I'm 2 for 2, and that was backwards.
All right, are we seeing my screen?
I could be totally wrong.
.html/. Look, there's an FRN.
I use Firefox. I guess it hides it. I'll tell you.
I'm using Firefox as well.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Is that Firefox?
It actually is.
I concede.
I've been really working on humility lately, but it's tough when you're right all the time.
It can't be easy. It can't be easy being you, buddy.
Rough stuff. All right, let's.
No, actually, I have a question before we go on.
Yeah.
I really don't know the answer to this one. Here I'm bragging about how smart I am, and then I'm like, the common acronym.
Humble.
IP, is that just Internet Protocol? No, that's IP ad. Is it just Internet Protocol?
Internet Protocol.
But there's IPv4 and IPv6.
There are.
Aren't those STDs?
What's an STD?
Oh no, that's HPV. Never mind.
What's HPV? You're throwing all these acronyms out.
I'm not sure we want to go into that educational piece.
All right.
Well, I mean the full thing.
I believe it's STI, by the way. It's not STD anymore.
I used to know. I don't know, so we're just not going to talk about it.
Well, what is the FRN though? Right? Like what is it though? Like what's that number? What's the number represent?
Let's good call. I'll share my screen again.
While he's sharing, has anybody noticed that Ryan is looking more and more every day like Jason Momoa?
Jason Momoa without a sit-up.
Without a sit-up?
Although I do like that commercial.
Dude, you're only being
for the day, and he takes all of his muscles off.
So here we have our FRN at the top. It's a bunch of numbers, but the first three numbers represent a table. The last three numbers represent a record number. So your first three is one is the student's table, and this is your DCID.
What does DCID stand for?
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Does anybody actually even know?
I have no idea.
No clue.
I have no clue what it stands for.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have any idea? Do we need to ask our audience to write?
You know what? I think we do, except I mean, I know the reason, roughly speaking, is because when they switched, as they migrated from database to database, they originally had ID as your primary key, but then rather than make a new database from the ground up, they migrated the existing database, and since all the names for ID were taken, they had to come up with a new one. So they used DCID, and that became your primary key. That's why there is DCID as well as ID on many tables.
I mean, but why DC? Are they not Marvel fans?
Should be Marvel ID.
All right, but that might have been a stretch, but I'm pretty sure all of our listeners are laughing uproariously right now. we can just wait for about 15 more seconds for them to calm down.
But please, if anyone knows what DC stands for in the term of DCID, by all means, share.
Yeah, please let us know, because apparently we never actually know that.
I'm gonna guess direct child or something silly. I don't know.
I bet it's Latin for something.
Dominus
Curriculum.
Let's go with Domino's. So you wanted to talk about RN too.
Well, just the difference, because if you say RN, because you can get, there's a data. I'm not going to say data access tag because that's probably not fall under data access tag. But if you do a tilde parentheses RN, it's not intuitive that you're getting the student's DCID, but it's related to the FRN. You know what I mean? So if you wanted the FRN without the table number, it's just RN, and there is a tag for that. And sometimes it comes in handy.
Interesting.
Oh yes.
Since we're up in the URL, I think it's worth asking y'all what MCR stands for and what that's used for.
I'm gonna throw out there first. No idea.
Master control record.
You're not supposed to buzz.
Oh,
unless you're answering.
Well, but the answer.
I don't know.
I gave an accurate answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was correct. Just not for the question I was asked. I don't know what it stands for.
I said master control record.
That would make sense.
That sounds good.
I think that's another one that we may need a little show and tell.
Let's go with that.
We're going to assume that's right unless Vance tells us we're wrong.
So for our listeners that are saying MC who what now?
Yeah. So go ahead.
So a neat little trick, if you're not aware of this, this is gonna revolutionize a few people.
This is going to Revlon your world.
In your URL, when you see that FRN,
he's born with it.
And I love saying this because some people they're like, I know what you're talking about, and I'm gonna say something, and they're gonna be like, he's wrong. After that FRN, put an ampersand, and then put MCR, and hit enter, and it's gonna take you.
What happens?
It's gonna take you to DDE. For the record based on that FRN. So it's way easier. Like, say you want to look at a student record and you've got that student DCID 001 followed by a number, throw in an ampersand MCR is going to take you straight to that kid in DDE. And every time I say that at a conference or when I'm teaching, people go, oh, I was always taught to just replace the FRN with MCR. So apparently that works too.
Oh,
I'm finding indication, at least reference, that master control record is not just my thought, at least. Still doesn't make it right, but other people think that's what it is too.
Master Control Record has like a very dystopian
Yeah,
sound
it
to it.
kinda
You know what I
does.
mean? Like, or what was the name of the guy from Tron, the evil, the Master Control Protocol, the MCP. That's what I was thinking of. No Tron. No.
No.
Okay.
No, it's fine. But how about then like modest control record?
That wouldn't be very
Make it
like
feel softer.
evil. Yeah.
Less invasive that way. It takes you to read only. It's fine. On the note of database things,
And going to read only. I think that's where we got to go next. What if I want to go to DDE, but it's not read only?
oh yeah, USM.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah. USM.
Well, you already said DDA.
Right.
Yeah.
But he didn't
it's
say
interesting.
USM.
When you go to DDE, which we all have learned is together now. DDE stands for
Direct
Database
Export.
right. So if we want to go to DDA, you would think we just go up to the URL and change DDE to DDA,
Yeah, you would think that.
but that doesn't work. What do you have to change it to?
USM.
Which stands for
Yeah, I have no idea.
I've been told universal serial mode.
Oh wow.
Or informally, some people like to call it unsafe mode.
I was
Oh,
taught
I like
at
that
a,
unsafe mode.
I was taught at a very early PSU in my PowerSchool career that it was use sparingly mostly. So that's what
Yeah, I
sticks
thought-
in my
I thought unsafe mode was just non-atomic mode. Back when that was a thing.
Wow, you're going back, baby.
Also true.
Not a dumb mode.
So if you don't know what DDA is,
Best not to go there.
Don't go there. That's a little disclaimer for y'all. All right, so expanding a little bit further, maybe possibly outside of the PowerSchool realm, ODBC.
What does it stand for? I don't know what it stands for.
Oracle Database Connection.
Close.
Open database connectivity.
There it is.
Oh, for the win. Nice.
But if you're hosted, you can't establish ODBC if you first established VPN.
VPN.
You mean until you first
Until
established? Okay.
I'm sorry,
All right.
until you have first
You
established.
lost me
I was
there.
lost.
You lost me there.
Unless.
I
Okay.
said until when I meant unless.
Unless you click your heels 3 times.
And VPN stands for.
Virtual private network.
That is true.
Thank you.
Well
And what are
done, my
VPNs
friend.
most commonly
Well, what
used
is
for?
ODBC? I mean, you're.
Oh, we
you're
didn't
saying-
quite
you
get
know,
there.
might as well.
Wait, no,
say
no.
it is,
Open-
Mr. Man.
Open database connectivity is really just logging into your database. I mean, I have a username, I have a password, and assuming that I have network access established via either being on that network or having a VPN connection.
I would say typically it's used when you're connecting a tool or a piece of software
Yeah, some
to
kind of,
a database. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can actually do in Excel.
Yeah. Works beautiful in Excel.
Yeah.
What are VPNs most commonly used for nowadays?
Internet
Downloading
is for-
pirated movies.
The internet is for.
Yeah. Getting to like things on Netflix you can't see in the US.
That's true. Because you want all our Canadian content.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, that's why.
Oh, your famous movies. Sorry.
Why aren't we drinking the Labatt's, eh? How many times have you seen anybody come on this show and go, I'm drinking a Labatt's today, guys?
You wouldn't see me doing that either. So.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to an easy one. PSHTML. We've all heard it. Why is it a thing? What's it stand for? It's kind of a double thing here.
Yeah.
Well, here's kind of a debate. Is HTML in PSHTML still HTML? Or
It's
is
not.
It's not.
No, I mean, no, it's not. But does HTML then still stand for HTML traditionally?
Dude,
Because-
I never really thought about it, but yeah, like it's kind of offensive the more you
Right.
think about it, right?
It's like it's no
No,
longer.
actually, I've never been offended
no longer
by
an
the
acronym.
term PSHTML. I don't.
Like HTML and PSHTML isn't really fair to call it an acronym anymore. It's just more like almost a word that's been
Yeah, just a term,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I guess
It's just a
technically it
term.
would be considered PowerSchool hypertext markup language, but
But it's not.
But that is
That's
so
not
wrong.
what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're all on the same page that PSHTML isn't actually an acronym.
It's an oxymoron.
It's just a term.
I mean, really. Good.
No.
Okay.
Nope, we're gonna move
Okay.
on.
Oh boy.
PSHTML is any tag that
Only works in PowerSchool.
that is just a PowerSchool thing. It has nothing to do with HTML. It's just a PowerSchool thing that you have to know. This
Fantastic.
is
Well, a DAT is PSHTML, right?
so you could say that is anything that starts with a tilde, right?
That's
So you can say PSHTML is anything that starts
That's
with
like anything that starts with a tilde.
So if
It's
it's a
PSHTML.
DAT, it's PSHTML.
yeah.
But can you say if it's PSHTML, it's DAT? I don't think
No.
so. Because
I would
otherwise,
say
why
that-
would there be?
That's the
There's
umbrella
things
that
that-
everything
Well,
goes under. Because
that
we
page
made
that
up.
we were on
PSHTML
earlier.
is something that they talk about. It's something that like we talk about, right?
That's true,
It's
yeah.
not. I think we made up this term for anything that
Wait,
needed to
that's
call it
not a
something.
real program.
Boys.
Yeah,
Here.
like-
We got tired of saying that's just a PowerSchool thing.
Boys, here. PSHTML or PowerSchool HTML is the term given to the language used to write traditional PowerSchool pages. It consists of HTML with special PowerSchool tags interspersed. These tags usually have one of the formats tilde, parentheses, or tilde square brackets. They essentially perform server-side operations that can modify the page results being sent out to the user's browser. There are many, many PSHTML tags supported by PowerSchool.
So that almost makes it sound like in order for it to be PSHTML, it has to be not just that piece, but a whole page that has
Yeah.
HTML and what we would consider.
I feel like that's how they've defined it.
Right.
How everyone uses it is the tags that are not
That's what it is.
actually HTML.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, more acronyms. Apex.
Apex.
The top.
Application something enterprise experience. Only
Yeah.
at Epcot in the summer of
Maybe-
2023.
Coming soon to
Something Oracle something.
There's
build
no
your
O.
report. And yeah, I have no idea what it stands for.
I don't need it.
Oh,
Does it stand for? So do you have it in your little?
So it's
cheat sheet?
actually on here, but all it says
Okay.
is the Oracle application used in enterprise reports.
can we take a short break, friends? We just had some very special guests stop by our room.
Oh, might that be the person you were giving a
And
shout out to? Ironically,
I may or may not have been just talking
Just
about
don't.
this person not so very long ago.
All good.
Come join us. We were saying nothing but nice things about you.
all the nice things.
Friends, down here at the Myrtle Beach Conference, we have none other than Carla Dance.
Hello.
When we had her on the show, I think we called this out, but Sumbits would not exist without this lady. This was her brainchild. She called me one day and said, we should do a podcast. And I said, that's a terrible idea.
And here we
And
are.
she was right. No.
I actually have he told me I was right one time. I have an image of that I saved.
Oh, I
Occasionally
actually,
I'll send it to him. Carla was right.
That's awesome.
I mistakenly sent it to the whole company. Yeah, no, Carla was right on this one. And of course, there was a screenshot taken.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to you later watching this podcast, Carla. Thanks for stopping by and joining us.
For no particular reason.
Okay, wait. I gotta share I'm not gonna share who said it, but I got a quote about Carla today. Carla is so wonderful. She could turn anyone into a little saucer of milk with her sweet laugh.
Aww.
That is adorable.
Who'd you pay to say that? We have one more special guest. Also just stopped by, Alicia Onstead.
Hi, Alicia.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Good.
We are having a blast.
We're still
We're talking PowerSchool
Natty
acronyms
Light?
today. Oh yeah, we're
Natterdays,
fancy like
strawberry
that.
lemonade.
Like
There's more in the
strawberry lemonade beer? Or
Yeah. There's more in there. You should try
There's
one.
more in the fridge. And bourbon if
Or
you're
there's this,
thirsty.
yeah.
We definitely have
I'm
bourbon.
not a bourbon drinker. So. What have you guys been talking about?
Acronyms.
Acronyms.
Oh,
Yeah. What's DEM? What's DDA? What's DDE?
What's FRN? What's MCR? What's
We just talked about
We
those.
did
talk about
FRN
this.
and
There you
MCR.
go.
Oh, and you know what else
What
we
else we
did?
got?
That was a lot of
We
fun.
talked about STI and
DAT.
STD as well.
DAT?
Yeah, we did.
Kind of like ATMs?
Dat tags.
Yeah, that's X.
Oh, see that, right? That's one of the, yeah. I adopted that pet peeve from Alicia, as a matter of fact, friends. We talked about dat tags, and I said that's like saying ATM machine. And
yep.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Alrighty, I'll let you go to
Thanks
it.
for joining us.
Did you guys stop by?
Uh,
You guys gonna hang out for a little bit, or head out?
No, we gotta meet for dinner.
Gotcha.
Are y'all going to?
Eventually.
We'll catch you after a while.
Anywho.
Yeah, alrighty.
Were we done talking about Apex? I don't think any of us actually knew what it stands
Oh
for.
yeah, no,
I have no
I don't
idea
know.
what
We
it
did.
stands for.
Well, we said Apex, and somehow Peronti squeezed Oracle into that acronym. So I don't think we figured that one out.
There's a couple O's in Apex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them definitely stands for Oracle.
Apexo.
Apex. I thought it was
Wait,
always
wait,
like
wait.
Application Express.
what?
It
What does
probably
the
is probably not an acronym.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's an acronym on Eric's shirt.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We got to finish Apex. All right. Well, that's next.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, if you know what Apex stands for, let us know.
Wait, you don't actually have that one written down?
No, it literally says Oracle application used in enterprise reports.
That's what I mean. I think it's just like
You don't
a
think it's
short name. I don't think it's an
You think it's
actual
just a name?
acronym.
Google isn't helping.
Term.
I could be wrong. I often am.
Fair enough.
All
As
right.
we've seen.
So yeah, as our friend Ryan mentioned, how can we be remiss as we're in PSUG, PSUG, Southeast right now?
Oh, you're supposed to say SE.
PSUG SE,
The
How-
SD stands for Southeast.
PowerSchool User Group Southeast, and here we are. PowerSchool User Group. Man, it's been what, like 15 years now. I think Joe Miller started PowerSchool User Group about 15 years ago,
Really been that long.
and here we still are.
Somehow.
And I mean, he brought me in back in 2015. I remember I've been trying to bring it down ever since, but it's still going strong.
Somehow. We're still going. Let's see here. You guys got any while I'm looking? I'm trying to find some good ones.
What we in the programming business will sometimes say, we'll use the acronym FACT, and I use this a lot in my programming. It stands for
Is it somewhere in line with
fail-
FBAR?
failed after continuous testing.
Never heard that
FACT.
before.
Well, now you can use it.
Yeah.
And if you say it out loud, you can't in this podcast.
That is going to be the name of the next MBA plugin.
FACT.
We are
That's it. It's a fact.
Everybody's going to want to buy it. What does it stand for?
A lot of bucks. A lot of bucks.
Oh, here's one for you. I love the acronyms that actually spell out a full word. Picnic.
Oh, what do you got there?
At least for fun.
Ooh, this one I learned from Carla Dance.
Yeah.
Miss you, Carla, wherever you went. Picnic. Carla introduced me to this. That is what we call a picnic problem. And this is, as a developer, everything's a picnic problem. Problem in chair, not in computer.
Oh, that's a PEBCAC error as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's better than PEBCAC.
I was thinking like
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
Interesting. I never heard the picnic one.
Have you heard of an ID10T error?
That's what I just said.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing.
If you haven't, write it down,
Yeah,
Fred.
You'll figure it out. Here's a nice, fun, easy one to say. WYSIWYG.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I like that one.
It's always been.
It's fun. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. What you see is what you get.
See, I actually didn't ever know that that's what it stood for.
What's that?
I never knew that's what it stood for.
Oh, really?
I always thought it was just a ridiculous word. Just to be perfectly honest.
It is. It's fun to say. But it does.
And friends, this is why it's okay to also admit you didn't know something, because then you learn.
That's right. Hey, let's go back to PowerSchool for a second. MBA just happens to be an ISV partner of PowerSchool.
MBA?
Yeah, what does MBA stand for?
Well, I know what MBA stands for, but you just blew my mind because I've been referring to ISV for the last God knows how long, and just now realized I have no idea what it stands for. MBA, friends, I mean, I think everybody at this table, the only one who doesn't work for MBA, let me ask it, because people refer to MBA kind of as MBA. Do you know?
I do. Marcia Brenner Associates.
That's correct.
Yeah, I did know that one.
So our
is.
fearless leader who just stopped by, Alicia, her mother is Marcia Brenner, and she originally started MBA, and I think we talked about this with Alicia.
Yeah, I think
we had her as a guest.
Episode 4, it's a 2-parter. Yeah. If you haven't watched that episode, go back and check it out.
Yeah. 1984, Marcia Brenner started Marcia Brenner Associates.
Very cool story.
And then several years later, they hired a promising young developer by the name of Eric Scheidel, and it just took off from there. I'm just going to say.
I thought that was going to go. Does anybody actually know what ISV stands for? I actually do know this one.
Service
something vendor.
Independent software vendor.
Oh.
As an independent from PowerSchool. It's interesting, huh? It's good stuff. Some general school stuff. How about like ISS and OSS? And where would we see those?
So we would see those in the discipline logs or in the incident management. That is in school suspension, out of school suspension.
Nice, very nice.
I
know. And all of our watchers and listeners that were like working from school districts are like,
this is silly.
These guys are idiots. Well, here's another fun one for our elementary working folk. PBIS. It's another school thing.
Oh, yeah. What?
I think I got this one, but I'm gonna defer for a moment.
PBIS.
So while they're thinking, I have to give it we like our shout outs around here. But Tammy Todd actually provided me a nice document of a bunch of acronyms for me to go through.
Oh, speaking of acronyms, I was in Tammy Todd's FERPA session.
That's on here.
Which is another acronym. And
it
was
that one because I
fantabulous.
No idea.
I mean,
that's not what FERPA stands for.
I know, but Tammy Todd stands for fantabulous. That's what I'm going to put in.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what, Nick? I second that one because I was in her session when I was in Orlando, and I learned a lot about all that finally because that was all stuff that eluded me for quite a while.
She did a really great job narrowing it down. I'm just saying, if you're at the PSUG, take the Tammy Todd session.
So.
Right, we're gonna
do Tammy Todd.
Get back to FERPA.
Yeah, PBIS.
But
first.
I want to take this one word at a time, and I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. One word: positive.
Yep.
Behavior.
Yep.
Intervention.
Yep.
See, that just feels wrong. Positive behavior intervention. If you're behaving positively,
so I said the second one's iffy.
System or service?
Neither. It's actually positive behavioral intervention and supports.
Yeah, perhaps I didn't know that.
No.
No.
So typically PBIS is like things are like systems in elementary schools to encourage positive behavior.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And intervene when the child needs support.
And you can use log entries to track that. Just saying that and bringing that around.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one. SIF. Kind of jumping all over the place.
That would be student interchange format. Is that I'm not sure on the I.
You're wrong on all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
You got the S and the I and the F right, though.
I got the S, the I, and the F right.
Well, just like it starts with an S and it starts with an I and it starts with an F.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so you're pretty much there already.
Not that bad. Is it time for the hoedown yet?
Ding, 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 ding.
Never mind. We were going to go to FERPA next. I forgot about
Oh yeah, we got to go back to FERPA, but I'm gonna say it's a system interoperability for
that word.
framework,
No, I thought that.
So close.
I thought it was specifically
So
for students.
close.
but
Not system.
something interoperability framework.
Yes. School.
Oh,
School interoperability.
But
framework.
something does start with an S, so that was good.
I'm gonna be fair. The only reason I knew that is even though I'm not looking now, I was browsing earlier and I realized as I was looking at Sean's document that I didn't know what SIF meant. So I'm like, it's and when I read it, for the record, when I read it, it was.
I like how Eric cheats and immediately tells on himself.
Just says it right.
Nobody even accused him of it.
That's
He's
good.
like, "Oh, Matt."
I totally looked
But
at
no,
it.
I also want to say that I read it I was very articulate when I read it.
Proud of you.
I could say interoperability
But now it's
quickly and
You can
Yeah.
still say it. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
all right.
Ryan, you took the class. Tell us what FERPA stands for.
Federal.
Tammy's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah. Well,
It is federal.
federal
Oh, I thought the F had to
education.
be federal. No?
How is it not federal?
It's not federal.
I didn't make it up.
Okay.
I mean, FEMA is federal. Anything starting with FE has to be federal.
Right? All right, I'll give you the first one. Family.
Family education.
Bull.
Educational Record Protection Act.
No. We're 3 out of 5.
3 to 5. Privacy Act.
We're now 4 out of 5.
Privacy.
Family, educational, something, and Privacy Act.
Family.
Tammy, if you're watching, you're like, so mad that he's not getting
And
this
now
right.
she's giggling.
I know, right? Give up.
Yep.
Family, educational rights, and Privacy Act. Nick, you just took the class.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Give us like a quick.
We didn't
20
really dwell on
the actual.
the actual acronym.
Well,
I gotta
But
say,
you
which
two
is
work
good.
for a
I know.
school
Saying we just
district,
took the
right?
class, so give
Yeah.
us the quick 20-second rundown of what FERPA is.
The 20-second rundown.
One.
Well, it is. It's a federal act that, prevents anyone who doesn't have an educational interest in a piece of student data from sharing it with other people. I mean, that's my elevator pitch. She did a great job of describing the situation and stuff.
And that
there's so
includes
much
just
you don't even think about, like student data all over the place, and when is not okay to share it. You know what I mean?
So anybody watching, it's all the laws based around when you are able to and when you should not share student information.
Yeah.
So if this term is new to you, talk to somebody in your district and learn more about it, because it's very important. We all work with student data, and we got to make sure that data is safe. Let's see, guys. That was a difficult one. Let's go back to easy. What's a SIS?
It's SIS.
Isn't that something you go to your doctor for?
I was thinking that.
I had one.
This is a
brain twist
family
last week.
This is a family podcast. I didn't want to go there.
One of the PowerSchool products is a SIS.
Yeah. They do call it PowerSchool SIS now.
They do.
Because they have a lot of products.
They do.
Yeah, that is Student Information System.
I mean, you didn't buzz in, but I'll give it to you.
Neither did anyone else.
It's true. How are we doing on time, fellas? How are we doing on time? Probably getting close to the end. You guys haven't come up with any that you want to like throw out there? How about ATN? ATN's a fun one.
ATM.
Oh,
yeah.
We already went over ATM. Oh,
ATN.
right. Mm-hmm. Go for it.
attendance tracking and notification.
Nice.
I worked with
Nice.
it once, like 8 years ago. I have no idea how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe the idea is that as students start to become more offensive in their attendance, that we can track that and notify
Interesting choice of words.
more offensive.
Okay.
Egregious.
Hey, there you
Yeah.
go. That's probably
Yeah.
better.
That's good.
That we can recognize and notify.
ADA ADM. Right? ADA ADM. Typically said together. Doesn't need to be.
Yeah, you know what? I know. I don't know.
Is it average?
It's attendance.
Average? Wait.
No, it's attendance. That's where I'm going to leave it at.
Definitely attendance.
And the first is average. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct.
We're going to try to average.
Average daily
ADA.
minutes,
Average.
average daily
Average.
attendance, and average daily minutes.
Oh, so close.
So
You
close.
missed
Close.
1 out of 6.
So close.
When you're setting up your calendar.
Or
Setting up the school
when
calendar.
or when you run the ADA ADM by student report, what is one of the columns? Probably never run that report. You just query the database.
Exactly.
Fair. Average daily attendance. Average daily membership.
Membership.
And that, as developers, man, I tell you what, that is depending upon what projects you've had to work on. Some of this stuff you're gonna know like the back of your hand, and some of this stuff just know, like, right? Like
When it comes down to it,
Mhm.
you really need to know what it actually stands for. You just need to
I
know
don't
what
know.
it does.
I don't know, like I've had to do a lot of reporting around attendance, so I know ADA, ADM.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then all of a sudden, someone's like, "Hey, we need you to do this thing about Power Scheduler." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What's a
I feel
Power
some way.
Scheduler now?"
Here, I got a good one. I got a good acronym, and for it's related to a future guest we hope to be having on here. What is PDS?
Oh, that's some foreshadowing. That's what they call that.
Mhm.
I think it would also be worth mentioning what does PSCB stand for.
Oh, you're having him on.
I don't even know.
Oh, nice.
PDS, Power Data Solutions. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad you asked that, Ryan, because how many times, and I even said it today, I was telling people in my classes, because I teach customization, and rule number 1 of customization is don't build it if you can steal it.
Mhm.
And PDS and PSCB are the best places to steal stuff from. And when I say steal, I mean they share this stuff. Go take it.
Yeah.
And I just realized Power Data Solutions, a great website for getting free PowerSchool plugins. And my apologies to our friend Rob Stats. But he has the PSCB custom reports bundle available on PDS. And I have no idea what that means.
I'm trying
PSCB
to find out.
or PDS?
PSCB. PDS is
PowerSchool.
Power Data Solutions.
Well, because it used to be called.
PowerSchool customer.
So it used to be called
Yeah.
Custom Reports Bundle, CRB. When they rebranded to PSCB, it actually stands for PowerSchool Custom Bundle.
There you go.
Oh, just custom bundle.
Custom
Okay.
bundle.
Why do they take reports out? Is it not? Is there more
Well,
than reports
there
in
are.
there?
They
Yes,
do.
customization
Yeah,
now.
there's other things other than reports now.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something today.
I actually made one of my plugins work with one of his plugins, so you could have both installed and love.
And
Really?
Yes,
And you weren't even classically trained.
I'm not. I'm not.
And that's worth throwing
Like
out
Rob,
that
yeah.
Rob loves feedback and he loves to hear what you've done if you've made use of his stuff. I mean, he I think he's even gone as far as to sometimes incorporate it back in new versions when he's heard from people.
So their friends is a shout out to Rob
Thank you, Rob.
Stats. This is officially the shout out episode.
I feel like most
Sumbits.
episodes are shout out episodes. Rob, still want you on. We just gotta figure out the time, bud. Do we mention AET?
Yeah, we do. As long as we don't mention
The name?
The name.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
I mean, if you want to Google AET, I guess he makes some good stuff. But we're not going to tell you what it stands for.
Well, we got close with the ADA ADM, right?
Right.
All right.
AM.
All right. To be fair to anybody who doesn't know, we need to say, as much as it pains me, AET friends, Aurora Educational Technologies.
Yeah. I don't know who owns that, though.
Some guy.
Yeah.
Schmerson.
It's kind of like sausage or something. Yeah.
AET, Aurora Educational Technologies. Check it out.
Just
some good
a
plugins.
damn guy.
I do.
Yeah. Not proud of it, but I do miss you, Adam. Here's a fun one that's...
Sorry.
EdFi. EdFi's
No clue.
That name is everywhere right now,
I
right?
assume education's ED stands for education, not
Fidelity.
erectile dysfunction.
Educational fidelity.
I was thinking.
I would assume Fidelity.
I have no
I don't
idea.
actually know what it stands
Me
for,
neither.
but it's a lot of states are moving to it. It's a standard to allow the transfer of student data from a student information system, also known as a SIS, aka a SIS. To send student data up to the state for state reporting.
Okay, can we Google this because did we talk about this on an episode, or am I remembering it from somewhere else?
No.
Wi-Fi. What does Wi-Fi stand for?
Wi-Fi?
Stands for nothing.
Well,
Ryan, you're smiling. Yeah,
Yes,
it stands
'cause
for nothing. Were you the one that posed this like during a company meeting or something?
Actually, I'm pretty sure it came up during one of our post recordings during trivia.
That would make sense.
I just remember being posed
Yeah.
the question, what does Wi-Fi stand for? I'm like, it's got to stand for something. And I was floored.
Yeah.
The answer was, it stands for nothing.
Yeah, I'm guessing EdFi is probably the same.
Hi-Fi stands for something.
Hi-Fi
It does.
definitely
Old school, I'm just saying.
Great movie.
We're recording in high fidelity right now too.
The highest fidelity.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week, John Cusack.
You should have more celebrities.
We should.
Yeah.
We just need to contact them. I don't know
Yeah.
why they'd say no.
I've been reaching out to 6 people.
Yeah. Hanks. I'd chat with him. Only if he brings Wilson.
Right? Right?
If anybody has connections, let us know. Actually, I mean, we've had a star on. He was in Chicago Fire.
That's true.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to John Dunleavy.
John,
How about that?
I doubt you're ever watching this because I'm pretty sure you just like no more PowerSchool anything ever. But if you are, good to see you, bud.
Hi, John.
We're glad we snagged you before at the end.
Yeah, I know, right? Actually, I think that was his announcement. That was his announcement. That was pretty awesome. Back to
today,
acronyms. Just got a
Nick
few left.
Peronti has an announcement today too.
You're having another baby.
You're having Eric's baby.
Are we having a baby?
Well, I thought we had to announce this before we could get there.
No.
Really
This is
confused.
awkward. Well, do I have an
What's
announcement?
happening?
Well, they've perfected mail hosting. And okay, let's move on.
Yay! I think.
Somebody sing happy birthday.
Go down time.
I've successfully cloned
Yeah,
myself.
so guys, I think it's officially getting awkward enough. I think we're just gonna sign off and go enjoy a little PSUG Southeast for the evening.
Okay.
Ryan.
Oh, did you mean my class rosters thing? I got a new plugin, class rosters. Go check it out.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, well, no, that was just got weird. He's trying to bring up class rosters, and we diverted to male fertility or male.
Right now, so I'm curious. Like, you have to tell us about the class rosters thing.
No, just that was recently posted to the old site,
And which is
nicktech.org, another source of free and hardly maintained plugins.
Did you take down sumbit.org?
No, it was US, sumbit.us.
US,
Yeah.
that was it. I was trying to share this with my class today. and I
No,
got
I'll be paying that one until the day I die.
I
Unfortunately.
apologize, though. We were talking
But, yeah.
about your plugin.
No, just that. So List Students Autoloader made that a plugin a while back, and to save your student lists that you've set up as like sets for people to use. But then recently, I did the same thing with class rosters. If you're familiar with the class rosters report, that is unruly and terrible. But if you could save them, they're a bit better. I'm just going to put
the
that out there.
nicktech.org. NICKTECH.
Yep.
.org, which stands for.
Well, see, back in my day, we had like a handful of top level domains. Now we have a million.
There's a bunch.
But back then there was, .com, which was taken, .net, which was taken. So .org.
There you go. And then
There might be some interesting club sites coming out soon.
And then you.
I do have a new .club. I can't announce it on this because, again, family friendly. But
And then
Actually, that might
also,
actually make it sound even worse.
you did purchase sumbit.us.
oh yes,
Yes.
long before there was a Sumbit
Long before there was a podcast.
there was Sumbits.us.
And so, not to be creepy, but
Not to be creepy, but .com
yeah.
is also
Which is actually an
still
easier
around.
way to get to the Acme site than
Another source of plugins.
Yeah.
Yes.
a couple free ones on there too.
Yeah.
All right, before we sign off,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think we need to do just one more shout out because we are hanging out here at PSUG Southeast. And
Oh yeah.
we've had someone hanging out with us here today who is a past guest of Sumbits. And he's just been chilling because we just like having him around. But
Well, we needed the eye candy on the couch,
I
right?
remember this guy.
Cheers.
I would cheers, but I'm out.
To our,
I know, me too.
oh, gosh, that hurts. There's a whole fridge.
Cheers.
I know.
Did you get to your second
Eric
beer?
Miletich, thanks for being here. And we're going to have this guy back on one of these days, too. But
Also
not
known as
until we get super desperate and shuffle through all the good potential guests.
Don't worry, I recorded you complimenting me this morning.
Oh, it was terrible. I was in a session today and someone said, my last instructor told me this. And I said, that instructor was right. Only to look up and see Eric in the back of my class saying, of course I was. Oh, I know he was there, man.
In my week.
Well, sorry you're not here, Ryan, but we're going to give you a cheers anyway. Until
Yep.
next time, everybody, thanks for watching. I love seeing some of you today, this week. We love all the compliments. I'm glad you're learning something. I hope you learned something on this episode too. Until next time, cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Adios.
Hey, TTFN.
Haha, Google it.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one today. Enjoy more episodes and learn more at mba-link.com.